Suburbia is supposed to be safe, but sometimes the quietest streets hide the darkest secrets. On nights like this, even the shadows seem to watch you. A haven of tree-lined streets and white picket fences, but beneath this calm, darkness can fester, unseen until it erupts. Tonight we're not venturing into haunted forests or abandoned asylums, we're staying close to home. We'll uncover 3 true stories that will make you question how well you know your neighbors, and what secrets might be hiding just a few feet away. So turn down the lights, lock your doors, and prepare yourself. These suburban nightmares are all too real. The Petersons, Mark, Sarah, and their 2 children, Emily and Josh, were brimming with excitement. After years of apartment living, they had finally saved enough and taken the plunge. They had just moved into their dream home, a charming 2-story house with a white picket fence. It was nestled on a quiet cul-de-sac, a picture-perfect slice of suburban tranquility. The kind of place where kids could play safely in the streets and neighbors waved hello. At first, everything was perfect. The kids loved their new school, Sarah joined a book club, and Mark finally had a home office. They hosted barbecues, met friendly neighbors, and felt like they had truly found their place. But then, a subtle shift occurred. Mark, working late one night, noticed movement. It was outside his office window at night, a fleeting glimpse that made him pause. He'd glance at the Hendersons' house across the street, trying to rationalize what he'd seen, but there was nothing but darkness. No lights, no movement, just an unsettling void. Sarah, too, started seeing it too, a nagging feeling that she was being watched. It was a silhouette in the Hendersons' window, a dark, undefined shape that seemed to linger just for a moment. But it was always gone when she looked twice, leaving her questioning her sanity. Their daughter Emily, already prone to nightmares, became terrified. She claimed a shadow man watched her from her window, his presence a constant source of fear. Josh, initially dismissive, started to notice it too, a creeping unease settling over him. Mark, trying to remain skeptical, finally saw it himself, confirming their worst fears. It was a human-shaped shadow, perfectly still, an unnerving presence in the darkness. It was staring back from the Hendersons' window, an unblinking gaze that sent shivers down his spine. Night after night the shadow appeared, a constant reminder of the unseen presence across the street. Sometimes it was in the front window, a looming figure visible from the street. Sometimes in the side, a fleeting glimpse as they walked to their car. It was always watching, a silent observer in the night. The family felt under siege, their once peaceful home now a prison of fear. Sleep eluded them as unease grew, the shadow a constant presence in their minds. Calling the police seemed absurd, a ridiculous notion even to Mark. What could they say? How could they explain the unexplainable? Their elderly neighbors were just standing in their own window? It sounded ludicrous. Driven by a need for answers, Mark decided to investigate, to uncover the truth behind the shadow. When the Hendersons were out, their car gone from the driveway, he seized the opportunity to get a closer look, to solve the mystery that plagued his family. Peering through the window, he realized the shadow wasn't a person, not at all. It was a life-sized, dark mannequin, its blank stare more unsettling than any human gaze. It was positioned to face their house, a silent sentinel guarding an unknown secret. Another mannequin stood in the side window, confirming his suspicions and deepening the mystery. The initial relief of discovering a non-human source quickly turned to dread, a chilling realization that something was deeply wrong. Why would anyone do this? What was the purpose of these silent, watchful figures? With no other recourse, the Petersons called the police, hoping for answers and a resolution to their nightmare. The truth, when it finally emerged, was stranger than fiction. A bizarre explanation that defied logic. Mr. Henderson had died, leaving his wife alone and vulnerable. Mrs. Henderson, suffering from dementia, her grip on reality fading with each passing day, believed the mannequins would deter intruders. A misguided attempt to protect herself in her confused state. Her well-meaning but oblivious son, trying to appease his mother, set them up, never considering the effect on neighbors, the fear and unease he was inadvertently creating. The mannequins were removed, their silent vigil finally over, but the memory of those silent, watching figures, their unnerving presence in the night, haunted the Petersons, a lingering reminder of the bizarre events that had unfolded. Their dream home had become a stage, a setting for a real-life horror story. It was a bizarre, unsettling drama played out in the heart of suburbia. Sometimes the scariest things aren't supernatural, not ghosts or demons or monsters under the bed. They're just next door, hidden behind closed doors and manicured lawns. The Petersons learned that even the most ordinary places, The most seemingly idyllic neighborhoods can hide the most disturbing secrets, the most unsettling truths. The shadow in the window was gone, the mannequins removed and stored away. But the unease lingered, a subtle shift in their perception of their surroundings. Suburbia's calm had been shattered, its illusion of safety forever tainted. And the Petersons would never look at their neighborhood the same way again, their innocence lost in the shadow of the mannequin. Sometimes the darkness is just a mannequin away, a simple object capable of triggering profound fear. And sometimes it's the stories we tell ourselves, the narratives we create in our minds, that are the most frightening, the most difficult to escape. The Peterson suburban nightmare was over, the mystery solved and the threat removed. But the memory would never leave, a permanent scar on their perception of home. In suburbia, you never really know, no matter how well you think you do, who or what is watching, lurking just beyond the window pane. Oakhaven was the kind of place where kids played outside until dusk, a haven of manicured lawns and quiet evenings. It was a place where parents felt safe letting their children roam, where the biggest worry was a scraped knee or a late dinner. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter and the carefree shouts of children at play. That sense of security shattered one ordinary afternoon when 6-year-old Lily Anderson vanished from her front yard. One moment she was there playing with her dolls, the next, simply gone. The search was frantic, a desperate race against time. Neighbors, police, and volunteers scoured every inch of Oakhaven, their hope dwindling with each passing hour. But no trace was found, no sign of a struggle, no clues, nothing to indicate where Lily had gone. It was as if she had simply evaporated into thin air. The case went cold, and a heavy blanket of grief settled over the neighborhood. The laughter of children was replaced by a somber silence, the carefree atmosphere now tainted with fear and uncertainty. Then, strange things began to happen, whispers in the dark that hinted at something beyond understanding. Neighbors heard a child's laughter at night, a sound eerily similar to Lily's, echoing through the empty streets. Some claimed they saw a small figure darting through the trees at the edge of the woods, a fleeting glimpse of something that shouldn't be there. Others found Lily's toys moved from where they were last seen, appearing in strange places as if someone, or something, was playing with them. Teenagers reported streetlights flickering and dimming whenever they walked past Lily's house, an unsettling phenomenon that sent shivers down their spines. And some swore they heard a child's humming near Lily's house, a haunting melody that seemed to drift on the wind. Some said Lily's spirit was trapped, unable to move on, forever bound to the place where she disappeared. Others dismissed it as mass hysteria, the collective grief and fear manifesting in shared delusions, but the experiences felt real, too vivid and too consistent to be easily dismissed. Lily's best friend dreamed of her, night after night, her lost playmate appearing in the hazy landscape of her subconscious. In each dream, Lily was always pointing toward the woods, a silent plea for help, a desperate attempt to guide them to her. When a new family moved into the Anderson house, their young son described a friend he had made. The description he gave chillingly matched Lily's, a girl with bright eyes and a mischievous smile. He said she couldn't find her way home, a heartbreaking statement that reignited the old fears and suspicions. The woods became a place of fear, a dark and forbidding realm where the line between reality and nightmare blurred. The Anderson house became a focal point for unexplained phenomena, a place where the past refused to stay buried. No answers ever came, the mystery of Lily Anderson's disappearance remaining unsolved, a haunting question mark hanging over Oakhaven. The laughter, a ghostly echo in the night, the glimpses fleeting and indistinct yet undeniably there. The moved toys became Oakhaven's folklore, whispered tales passed down through generations. The neighborhood was haunted not by a malevolent spirit, but by something far more profound. It was haunted not by a ghost, but by the absence of a child who never came home, a constant reminder of the fragility of innocence and the enduring power of loss. Even years later, new families reported strange happenings, perpetuating the legend of Lily Anderson. A child's voice carried on the wind, a whisper in the darkness, a fleeting figure, glimpsed from the corner of the eye, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Lily Anderson became a permanent spectral resident of Oakhaven, forever etched into the town's collective memory. The vanishing child never truly left, her presence lingering like a shadow, a constant reminder of the day Oakhaven lost its innocence. In suburbia, some mysteries are never solved, some wounds never heal, and some children never come home. Tom and Jenna, a young couple full of dreams, bought a Victorian fixer-upper, A grand old house with peeling paint and a history etched into its very bones. They envisioned cozy nights by the fireplace, laughter echoing through the halls, and a lifetime of memories made within its walls. The house, though clearly in need of some serious TLC, possessed a certain undeniable charm that drew them in. Excited to restore its charm, to breathe new life into its aging structure, and to uncover the stories hidden within its walls. They spent hours poring over blueprints, sketching out renovation plans and dreaming of the day they could finally call this place their forever home. Little did they know, their dream home held a secret far darker than they could ever imagine. While cleaning, sifting through decades of dust and forgotten relics, they stumbled upon something unexpected, a hidden, handleless door tucked away in a forgotten corner of the basement. It was a strange anomaly, a stark contrast to the rest of the house. The door was secured with a rusted deadbolt, a heavy, antiquated lock that seemed to have been untouched for ages. And strangely, it was absent from any blueprints or historical records of the house. It was as if the door, and whatever lay behind it, was deliberately erased from existence. The realtor and neighbors knew nothing about it. They were met with shrugs and blank stares when they inquired about the mysterious door. No one seemed to have any recollection of its existence, further deepening the mystery. The door became an obsession, a puzzle they couldn't resist trying to solve. It consumed their thoughts, fueled their curiosity, and cast a long shadow over their renovation plans. What secrets did it hold? What lay hidden behind its weathered surface? Attempts to open it failed, each failed attempt only intensifying their determination. They tried everything they could think of, from prying tools to makeshift keys, but the rusted deadbolt remained stubbornly locked. But then came the sounds, dull thuds, rhythmic scraping, unsettling noises that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the earth. The sounds grew louder, more frequent, and more disturbing with each passing day. Always from behind the door. The sounds were muffled, indistinct but undeniably present, fueling their growing unease and dread. Sleep became impossible, the unsettling sounds echoing in their minds long after they faded into the night. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside the window sounded like something sinister lurking just beyond the door. Tom, desperate for answers, borrowed a borescope, a small inspection camera used to see into tight spaces. He hoped to catch a glimpse of what lay beyond the door without actually opening it. He drilled a tiny hole, just large enough for the camera, and peered inside, his heart pounding in his chest. He held his breath, bracing himself for whatever he might find. He saw a steep staircase descending into darkness, a seemingly endless descent into the unknown. The air seemed to grow colder as he peered deeper into the abyss. Walls gouged with deep scratches, as if something had desperately tried to claw its way out. The scratches were old, weathered, but undeniably disturbing. The air was cold and foul, thick with the stench of decay and something else, something indescribably sinister. It was an air that spoke of suffering and despair. Determined, driven by a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity, Tom managed to disengage the lock, the rusted mechanism protesting with a loud, grating screech. The door groaned open, releasing a wave of decay, a suffocating cloud of dust and the unmistakable odor of death. It was as if the door had been holding back a torrent of darkness for decades. Stairs led to a dirt-floored room, empty, save for a few unsettling details that sent shivers down their spines. The room was cold, damp, and utterly devoid of hope. Except for rusted chains bolted to the wall and a rotted chair, its wooden frame splintered and covered in grime. The chains were heavy, thick, and clearly meant to restrain something. Then Jenna screamed, a piercing, blood-curdling scream that echoed through the house. Child-sized handprints pressed into the earth, dozens of them, covering the floor like a macabre wallpaper. The handprints were small, delicate, and undeniably heartbreaking. This was no storage space. It was a prison, a place of unimaginable suffering and confinement. The realization hit them like a physical blow, leaving them breathless and horrified. They fled and called the police, their voices trembling as they recounted their horrifying discovery. They couldn't bear to stay in the house for another minute, the image of the handprints seared into their minds. Investigators uncovered a grim history, a dark and disturbing secret that had been buried for generations. The truth was far more horrifying than they could have ever imagined. A century ago, a child was kept locked in that cellar for years, subjected to unspeakable cruelty and neglect, The child's cries for help had gone unanswered, their existence erased from the world. The chains, the scratches, the handprints, all evidence of unimaginable cruelty, a testament to the darkness that can lurk within the human heart. Tom and Jenna couldn't stay. The weight of the house's history was too much to bear. They sold the house, disclosing everything to the new owners, hoping to spare them the same horrifying discovery. The locked basement had hidden a horror story for generations, a secret that had festered in the darkness, waiting to be unearthed. In suburbia, even the most beautiful homes, with their manicured lawns and picture-perfect facades, can conceal the darkest secrets, the most unspeakable tragedies. The past never truly stays buried. It lingers, waiting for the right moment to resurface and remind us of the horrors that came before. The house on Elm Street became a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can exist behind closed doors. A reminder that some doors should never be opened, some secrets are best left undisturbed. Tom and Jenna left, forever scarred by what they had found. The memory of the locked basement, the handprints, the chains would haunt them forever, a constant reminder of the darkness they had unwittingly unleashed. Sometimes the scariest part of a home is what's hidden beneath, the secrets buried deep within its foundations. The locked basement was no longer a mystery, it was a warning, a chilling testament to the enduring power of the past. In suburbia, darkness can be just a door away, lurking behind the facade of normalcy. And some secrets are better left undiscovered, buried deep where they can no longer cause harm. The house's new owners would never look at the basement the same way, forever aware of the darkness that lay hidden beneath their feet. Suburbia's quiet streets often hide more than we imagine. Tonight we've seen how the ordinary can become terrifying, how safety can be shattered in an instant. These stories remind us, darkness can reside anywhere, even in the places we call home. Every neighborhood has its secrets. What might be lurking just beyond your perception? If these tales chilled you, like and subscribe for more, and share your own suburban horror stories in the comments. Stay safe, and always be aware of the shadows.